Hey, welcome back to another episode for our weekly live series. If you haven't been here before, I don't know where you've been, but essentially, we're here every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern talking all things corporate contracts, strategies, how to get these contacts in the door, raising your rates to match your expertise, all the things is what we cover. And this week's episode is going to be a little bit special. So occasionally I'll sprinkle in a little bit of personal stories, or I'll bring on past clients. So definitely go back. I recently went through all the videos that I've done over this year, and they've been amazing. And I have some with clients to share their stories. So go back to those because I have enjoyed doing that. But today we're going to talk a little bit about my story. So allow me to reintroduce myself. That's the vibes for today. So I wanted to really dive into the space of how I even got here, right? How did I begin to create this amazing business around helping entrepreneurs, experts like you all who watch me online every day? How did I even get this started? How did I build this skill? So I'm going to go all the way back, tell y'all all the things, all the accounts, all the money and revenue that I generated for other companies, and then decided to say, not only do I want to do this for myself, but I want my people, my audience, those who are connected to me to be able to do this the same. So let's go all the way back and let's start at the very beginning of how I started my career. So my very first foray into B2B selling was actually in the pharmaceutical industry. So my first clients were doctors and doctors' offices, and coming in and talking to them about my product at the time, which was a medication. And the pharmaceutical B2B sales, we won't get all into that. That industry is very different. However, the importance of bringing up that particular experience is that's when I learned the art of like going to meet people in person, not necessarily having an appointment, but how to actually do a sales call in person, sharing what I have to offer, and also being one of the youngest people in that industry. That industry is very much so more mature. And so being able to go and talk to these doctors who have the tons and tons of experience and degrees and all of that. And I'm like, hey, here's this new drug that you need to be writing, and here's all the things about it. And, really being taken seriously. I believe that that really structured where I am today and how I'm able to help people, because I was on the front lines. Like, now we can do LinkedIn and Zoom and all of that, but that was not the case when I first started my career. And so I remember stepping into these conversations and having to really hold my own. And that's something that is a true tenet for the clients that I work with today, and why I'm able to empower them, because I'm like, I was doing this when I didn't have all the backings and all the accounts and all the dollars won. I literally started doing this when I was, I think at that time, maybe 21, 22. And I was going out and having these conversations with people who would seemingly be this great big, organization. And I am, someone that's coming in my expertise. So I help people kind of navigate that, especially those who've been removed away from corporate. So sometimes I find people are like, yeah, I've been away for so long, I don't even know how to move or how I should be talking about this. Or, what's the process that I need to even carry on in order to bring this to fruition? And so that's something that truly helped me in the process, is just understanding, what do they care about? Because we all do great things. We all have a great product, right? It's good to be in love with your product and good to believe in it. However, it has to make sense for the other person. And I started to learn, what are these buzzwords? What are these things that are catching their eye and their attention to make them even consider looking at what it is that I have to offer, whether it is a product or service. And so after that experience, I actually started to go into the tech space. So my background, although I am nowhere near technical, I'm learning that every single day, especially as I'm leaning more into my true strengths. I'm not technical. However, I got into the tech industry as a B2B salesperson, and that was truly the foundation. I made a post about this as I was talking about going live on this topic. I had a love-hate relationship with it because it's a grind. I mean, we had, anywhere from 400,000 to $1 million quotas that we had to hit every quarter, every 90 days, bringing in a half a million to $1 million. And if you didn't, it was not just, oh, well, I'll just try it again. No, it was like, it's either this or nothing. And so that experience for me, going in and selling to Guilford County government, or going in and selling to Point Park University, St. Joseph University, if you've heard of any of these Northeast, actually going there in person and looking like a student that should be on the campus. However, I'm rolling around with my products. I'm talking about the services and things that we offer and closing major deals that my company was not doing business with before. So I understood what it took to do business development, to not only sell, but also how to develop a territory. Essentially, I had a business within a corporation. I had to manage what revenue was being brought in. I had to look at what opportunities could be forecasted down the pipeline. That was the success of my role, is to understand those things and to also be able to go out and have conversations with people and position the products as a need for them. Having good listening skills, understanding how to navigate the conversation from a discovery call all the way to the proposal, and all of those things. I did it over and over and over again, to the tune of generating over $16 million for that company over the time that I was there. So not new to this, definitely true to this. Hit my head up against the wall several different times trying to find my way. But again, just going back to some of that love-hate relationship, I see why I went through that journey. I see even times where I was trying to figure out, okay, where am I going to find this next deal? When I was getting on the phone, calling people, like, I know we email and all this fancy stuff now, but I used to have to get on the phone and call and say, this is who I am. Here's what I offer. I want to talk with you more about X, Y, and Z, all of that, right? So learning those skills helped me be able to serve the clients that I work with now. And even my experience in corporate marketing, where I do a lot of training and enablement, I work with external vendors and hire them. All of those experiences help me be able to pour into you all through this content, and especially with clients who decide to work with me. It creates this opportunity for me to be strategic. I don't just have to teach one way of doing things, because I've had so many different experiences, whether, like I said, in the university space, really heavy, in the government space, really heavy, even some sprinkling of healthcare in there. Understanding that there's a thread between all of those experiences and knowing which levers to pull with the clients that come to me makes my engagements and their results actually so much more clear, and creates a streamlined process for them to get there. So let's kind of talk about the changing my life part. So, I can remember closing, one of my very first like $500,000 deals by myself, right? And so the great thing about being in corporate sales is that, yes, you get a generous salary, but depending on your performance, you also get incentives, quota bonuses and things of that nature. And so I was very determined to be successful and to exceed those opportunities, because I wanted to open myself up to be able to generate more money. Early in my career, I did get married, I think probably like 2 years in, but I didn't have a child until 2020. So I had some time where it was just me, boyfriend then, and now husband. And we were always very focused on building up our lives for the future. And so this is my third time owning a home. And not to say like that's not a flex or anything like that, but that just goes to show that learning this skill set didn't just, develop me as a person. It also helped fuel my life. It's the reason that I'm able to live in my dream home of this season. And the reason I'm able to do the things that I would like to do is because this skill for me served me at a higher level and is still serving me today. And so that's why I'm so passionate about it. I want people to be able to take the skills that they have and turn it into whatever they desire it to be in terms of their vision and the passion for their life. I don't want people to feel that they have to do things in one certain way, even the corporate contract thing. You don't have to do this to be successful. However, I'm passionate about it because it's a skill set that I feel really helped to allow me to leverage my skill sets in front of a larger group, making more impact to organizations, to companies that can value it at a higher level. And so when it comes to doing things like trainings and more of what I do in this space, that's important. Being able to go into these companies and, change the trajectory. I work with people who do work in the mental health space. And I talked about this before, I think in the post that I did for this live, is think about, okay, you do these things one-on-one, or you might do things with friends, or again, you might have done it within a corporation and made them millions, but how much more impactful will that be if you did that same work with just 10 more organizations who had, 5,000, 10,000 employees? The impact that you get to make while not doing any more work is just amazing. It's the same skill set, it's the same expertise that you have, but you're taking it and turning it into something greater. And so going back a little bit in the story, because I jumped around, I didn't write any notes. I just said I'm going to speak from my true experience and from my heart. And so as I started that portion of my career, going out, first I started as an inside rep. So I was making a lot of phone calls, sending emails, generating new business. And then as I became senior and got a promotion, which, shameless plug, I got a promotion, I think within 18 months to go out into the field. And so I was really hyped about that. But that's when kind of the real work, the real getting in front of people, learning how to present, learning how to navigate difficult conversations, especially in times where, things aren't going right and they've given you a PO and you're supposed to deliver on these things. And now you have to understand how to go back to them and say, hey, this is what happened, but let's still keep your business. So I learned through these challenges. That's why I say I have the love and hate, because those challenges helped me now be able to navigate with clients. Don't do this, go down this route. If they say this is what they actually mean, because I've done dozens and dozens and dozens of conversations with corporate, which when I say corporate, I want to make sure I make that clear here to whoever's, here with me. It's not just for-profit organizations. It's really B2B, which means corporate organizations in my world, nonprofits, universities, and K-12 organizations. So companies that are, or school systems that are essentially organizations, and you're doing business with them. They all have a common thread, right? So everything that I'm telling you, the different industries I've been in, even in the healthcare space, although the way that they do business is differently, the conversations, the what matters to them, the whole process of how you engage with them, it all is the same. And I can say that after, again, like I said, countless. I should actually sit down and think about how many calls and how many B2B meetings that I have done over my career to generate that $16 million that I told you guys about. And it would just be crazy. And so though that part of my career of traveling really, at first it was great, right? So just quick funny story, not necessarily related to this, but I took the job of being able to travel and meet customers because, number one, wanted to work my way up the career ladder. And this is my next step. And, I'm at the top of my team. So I need to go and take this opportunity. But also because I wanted to get out and do a little bit more traveling. I wanted to reduce my fear of flying. So although I had been a traveler before, I still had this fear coming up. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a job where I have to travel. It's going to help me get over all my fears. And so I would travel twice a month. I would go and meet these customers. Like I said, universities in the Northeast. I had some government entities I've covered, Virginia, North Carolina as well. And so if Hampton University, Norfolk State University, like those were all my clients and people that I worked with. And meeting with them helped me to be able to prepare to have the conversations. I had to go and do the research. I had to understand what really mattered to them. I had to know my product like the back of my hand so that I could be able to position it as something that would be the solution to their problem. So becoming solution oriented became one of my greatest skills. And so all of these things, the trajectory of being able to do what I got to do, I definitely had to take a pivot away from it once we got into the pandemic time. So I told you guys that's when I had my son, that's when everything shut down. And as we were kind of coming out of that into the 2021 period, and they were like, yeah, we're going back to travel and all these things. And I was like, oh no, I'm not leaving my baby. I'm not, the same way that I was traveling twice a month and doing all those things before. That's actually not going to work for me at this stage in life. And so I decided, again, powerful move, to take the skill sets that I had developed, to take my marketing background, a degree that I paid for, got experience in, and then also my sales skills to say, okay, where else can I market this? This right here isn't going to work. So where else can I go and take these same skill sets and do something amazing? And that's when I transitioned to another tech company. Again, I keep looking back like, how did I think I like the energy of the tech space, not necessarily the technology itself and how it works. I like more so of the culture and the energy. Anyway, and so I decided to take those skill sets and get a corporate marketing job where, again, still handling big budgets, but more so I am doing the training aspect, building out plans. So when I tell people like, hey, you can go and train on this, or like sellers need this, and I'm letting you know what opportunities are out there for you, even for people. I have a client right now that is in marketing, and she's like, well, how can I go and pitch marketing to, these organizations that already have teams and marketing departments? I'm like, girl, I just spoke with someone, a few months ago about doing some marketing for us, and they don't work at our company. Like, we just contracted someone to do X, Y, and Z within our large global company that has presence all over the world, teams all over the world. I think we're somewhere at like over 100,000 employees at this point, huge company. And we hire outside experts to do things like this. I have also been a part of groups where we've hired speakers. Yes, there are a million people in this company who could probably talk on specific topics, but when there is a real specific need and they don't want just someone to come in on their break and just, hey guys, yeah, this is what I learned, da 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 da. When they want someone who's serious to present a keynote or facilitate a workshop, they are outsourcing that. Like, I know because I've signed the checks. So that is where I come from when I am able to not only guide clients, but also to tell them what the opportunity truly is for them and who to speak to in order to navigate those opportunities. I know it because I've done it. I've brought the people in, again, signed the checks, and worked for corporations that could have easily got any one of these, 100,000 employees to do something like this. But again, they're going to hire out for it, because when you want an expert, you're going to get an expert. You're not going to take someone off the job that they're supposed to be doing and now give them this that's completely unrelated, right? And so those are the type of things that help me to be able to support clients and help me be able to enlighten them and say, nope, you actually got an opportunity over here. You might think that, yes, it sounds easier to go and sell in this area. However, if you just talk to these people, like when I say sales teams, because I've been so ingrained in the sales process all of my career, I'm like, sales teams will pay you. Anything that gets their sellers making more money, they will pay for it. So as much as you can package your leadership skills, or some of you guys do some amazing things that can help with mindset and things of that nature, all you got to do is position that to mean if you hire me and come to do this, your sellers are more productive. I just told you as a salesperson how much money I brought into the organization. I'm one person. If you could influence a group of 30 or 50 of me, think about what I just said. So I said over my career, $16 million is what I've brought into the particular company that I worked for. Somebody go ahead and do the math because I'm not even going to do it. If you multiply that times 30 different individuals, 30 different salespeople, what would that be? Something crazy. And that being said, if you can be a part of influencing that, why would they not pay you 10, 20, 25,000, even 100,000 to do the work that you do inside of their organization? The answer is it's a no-brainer, right? And so when you really target that lens versus just saying, oh, I help employees be more productive. Oh, I help them. Like when you get into the hard numbers, that's why it's important to have some direction and have some strategy as you are building this out. When you talk from that lens, you can say whatever price and it will make sense because, okay, thank you, Arva. Thank you. Yes, $480 million. So when you understand that, there is no question about what price I'm going to offer. Even since Arva's here, I'm thinking about university students. Think about, me having worked on campuses and in universities, their main goal is how do we get their students placed into careers? Obviously, the first goal is to, teach them all the things they need to know. But ultimately, they want students going out into the world, getting these careers, coming back and donating to the universities, but also their large corporate partners. They want to make sure they're bringing good talent to them because that keeps them pouring into the university as well. That language, getting in that type of space creates opportunities for you that are endless. And so I am super passionate about this. And I think that my trajectory, my career path of being in B2B sales in different ways and, again, hitting my head up against the wall, trying to figure out how I'm going to bring in $1 million in a quarter, allowed me to be able to say, more of my community needs to be doing this. My people need to be doing this. Whether you are, someone again who's in the speaking space, or even if you have like books, you're an author, like whatever it is, corporate organizations, again, we talked about the umbrella. So we talking nonprofits, we're talking universities and all of that. They need this. And so anything that I can do based on my experience to try to distill down exactly what your path should be, that's what I want to be able to do. That is what I do. That is how I work with clients. That is how they get results. That's how their Arva is going to be soon to be. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. She's going to be doing business with Georgia State and all these colleges all around Atlanta and hopefully beyond that, right? And that's how clients have done work with Louis Vuitton and have started meeting with stars because they're following this same process that I've been able to develop over my whole career. The same process that I did when I was meeting and closing deals with Guilford County and with these universities. It's the same process. It's the same, going in, understanding their needs, understanding what it is that you have to offer, positioning, listening, right? Not going in with this very rigid expectation, but being open to figuring out what is their true need and how does what I have to offer match that. Those two things together is like gold. And so again, I don't have points for today. I just wanted to speak on my experience and really share with you. Again, this is not just something I just decided to think to do today. I went through the ranks started from the bottom. Now we're here, which there is no real here. We're still going up and up and up. But learning that really helps fuel what I do today and help to fuel, again, the life that I get to live. And the opportunities that I get to have to speak to these organizations. And even as I said, to empower others that it's not you against big corporate America. And if I did it at 21, it was when I first started doing this, then you can do this as well, especially as you are a veteran, expert, years, decades of experience in what you do. There's no reason that you should not be in front of corporate organizations. If that is what you desire, if that is the work that you desire to do in the world, you should be there pitching what you have, getting out, having these conversations and closing the deals. Okay. All right. So, did that help? I mean, if y'all have any more questions, feel free to drop them and I can circle back to them and, chat you up in the comments. But that's my story. That's my story. So, went from pharmaceutical sales, got into tech, started off on the phones, getting the thanks but no thanks, and moved up to selling to some really big universities and county governments across the Southeast and up into the Northeast. And then decided, hey, I'm going to take these skills and pivot them into a marketing career. And I'm going to start understanding more about the training piece and what it means to, build out these plans and continue to uncover different opportunities where I can take this back and now help you all be able to do the same. So, that's it for today's training. Shortish, sweet and to the point. I hope this helped you really tap into why I'm passionate about this work and how I develop strategies and not just cookie cutter processes that people just follow and that's it. But I actually get in the weeds with people, roll up my sleeves, and pull from these different experiences that helped me be able to be successful. So that's it for this week. As always, if you just came for the training, then you are all good. We will see you here next week. However, I would be remiss if I did not invite you to an opportunity to work with me. And so if any of this spoke to you and you're like, oh, that's the missing piece in my puzzle, is getting that strategy and process in order to land more corporate contracts in my business, then I definitely invite you to comment, first of all, VIP in the chat, and I'll tell you what that means in a second. Essentially, what I am doing for this month, which the calendar is actually filling up with so many different things. So we actually might be into June booking now, but VIP days are an opportunity to work with me in a very strategic way. You get a full day of my brain. Arvino, she's on here right now. When I say my brain, it can go in so many different directions and creating so many different opportunities for you. So just time to sit and dive into that is valuable on its own. However, you'll walk away with a revised offer. So we'll go through that and see if there's anything from price points to even the way that you're messaging about it to your ideal client. We'll go through that and make sure that's solid. We'll also build your marketing plan. So whether that is in-person events or LinkedIn or a combination of both, which I typically do with clients, we build out your system of who you're looking to target, what you need to say to them, how you're going to move them through the entire process to be able to get to a point where you're now creating a proposal for them. And when you create that proposal, making sure that you have a solid or a loose yes, a soft yes is what I call it, before you move into that process, which is really important. So I help people to really navigate what does that sales process look like for them? What things do they need to have in place in terms of their assets, in terms of legal, right? We need to make sure our contracts are airtight. And if we're signing a contract with these corporations, we need to have the review. Getting your IP and all of that protected is like paramount. I would definitely not suggest going after any opportunities unless that is very clear and covered. And so we walk through that entire process and even through ways to find opportunities through, getting things like certifications. My company is WeBank certified. And so that's a huge opportunity to break into some corporate organizations. And then even if you're looking for university and K-12 opportunities, there are organizations that you can actually start to target that will be very lucrative. So I get into my strategy and then I get to talking, y'all. Okay. I think that's good enough. I think y'all can get a picture of what the value is in doing and really sitting down and creating your strategy on how you go after corporate so that you don't fall through the cracks. You don't let things just kind of, go away. There could be so many different opportunities that you could capitalize on with the right strategy. All right. So if you're interested in doing that, VIP day, you also get 30 days of access afterwards to be able to chat with me. If you have any questions, things of that nature, want to refine the strategy, we'll be able to do that as well. Go ahead and drop VIP into the comments. We'll have a quick chat over Messenger. And then, as I said, we will likely have to get you scheduled for June at this point. However, go ahead and lock your date in because before you know it, we'll be into the next month. So I look forward to speaking with those who are interested in moving forward. And then, as always, we will be back here next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, for our next episode. All right, y'all. Talk to y'all soon and have an amazing day. And whatever you do, if you are interested in going after corporate, the first thing that you can do is go ahead and sit down and make a list of your dream companies. You'll be surprised as to how far that will get you as well. All right, y'all. Talk to you soon.